terrify Championship defenders. He could absolutely terrify Championship defenders, and that's what they're going to need. And it's interesting, you say the floating voters. That's the thing, isn't it? There's all these ones who we're mentioning. Villa are relying so heavily on these to perform really.
They're not all as terrible as we've seen.
But they're not going to be able to replace the whole of the squad. So these players who've had a really, really shattering, disastrous, in terms of morale season, they've got to perform and they've got to be rebuilt. And that's why I think this takeover happening now. It's not that it's too late now, but there's so much work got to be done in terms of rebuilding the squad in the next couple of weeks. It's got to start now, and that's why I think the manager's appointment very, very imminent.
The thing is, the new manager is going to probably have to make decisions on players without seeing them train.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shouldn't be too hard, should it?
No, well, he only needs to, like I said, if he stayed up late enough to watch a match of the day most weeks, then he should get an idea. But surgery needs to start now.
Any more thoughts, Joe?
Me personally, the one thing I would say...
I was about one then, but I like to hear you as well.
There have been a few people asking why you're not wearing ties and questions on your hair.
I can't speak for Steve, I can speak for myself. I've got a fat neck and I struggle to do the top button up, so it's either me with a tie and a bright red face or me without a tie.
The shirt itself as well, is it from Primark?
It's not Primark.
Oh, there you go.
I think it might be... Is that Jeff Banks? From Debenhams? Is that...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Aston Villa takeover Q&A.
Well, I can't do the top button up, so apologies for that. But it would be like a noose around my neck. So,
I don't do ties.
No.
Regarding we've talked about the retention of a core set of players, positions that unequivocally need to be filled in the summer. You look around the squad. We've talked enough about who needs to go and who needs to, remain. Who needs to come in?
I think you could make a case for every single position on the pitch. Yeah. Some areas are stronger than others. I mean, if you were starting Ashley Westwood and Gary Gardner in central midfield in the Championship, I wouldn't be too worried about that. But they need others in there, and that's where Lyden that come in. But there's that element of experience that I've watched the Championship for so many years, and you need a fusion of so many different elements to make it work, and that is not just in terms of the experience of youngsters. It's about the style of the players.
I think that's it. Villa need to get an identity first of all. They've not had an identity. What are Villa? How do they hurt teams? Well, they don't for a start, but without harking too much about Paul Lambert, he went from kind of tiki-taka after he went to
look at Burnley.
After he went to Pep Guardiola. What they're going to be is Rudy Gestede going to stay there? If that's the case, are they going to go long to Gestede and get somebody who can buzz around? Scott Sinclair should be able to feed off Rudy Gestede's knockdowns. Are they going to go that way? It's quite, it's quite agricultural, but are they going to do that way? Are they going to play wing backs? Are they going to get a Marvy fit and try and get him down, down the line as much as possible? Alan Hutton, if he stays down the other line, and provide service for Rudy Gestede that way? Are they going to try and get the ball down and play their way through? Until they know what their style of play is, it's difficult to know who's going to fit into that, really.
But that's the thing with the Championship. You've got to have both. You've got to be able to switch the styles of play dependent on the opposition you're facing, because no Championship game is ever the same. No opposition is ever the same. It's such a strange league in terms of styles and who you're facing. Villa have got to be able to mix it up, and that's the only way they'll get out of it. But looking at Burnley, that's the Joey Barton thing. I wrote a piece about 18 months ago about Joey Barton saying Villa should get him. I was laughed at Birmingham then, which happens a lot. But ironically, that is the kind of player that they need now. They desperately need somebody in the central midfield that can just pull all the strings and get everybody united. And they haven't got that at the moment, but that's a lot. Ashley Westwood, can he step up to that? It remains to be seen.
They need somebody with high standards. They don't state the obvious, but if you look through our picture library, if you type in the word Villa players dejected, you will probably get you'll probably get 1,000 pictures from the seasons just gone. We'll get the Villa players dejected photos, but we don't get the Villa players doing something about being dejected, using it to provoke a response and actually dragging themselves through a game to try and get over the dejection. There's too many people who have accepted defeat too easily in that squad. So we need, I'm not sure whether Villa fans will thank me for saying this, but Fabian Delph last season was one who would drag people along. Now we all know that kind of he slithered his way out of Villa Park. So, but they need somebody who's not prepared to accept, standards falling. Again, without harking on about it too much, really disappointed with Lescott and Richards. I'm not sure that, perhaps they've. I don't mean this the wrong way. Had it too easily at other clubs because they've had a better standard of player, particularly at Man City, to play alongside. When it's been on them to be the ones who are leading and drag players with less experience alongside them, they haven't done that. So they need that, the DNA of that player who can.
It was an appalling combination, in my opinion. It's just an appalling combination of two players in the central defence. I don't think it worked. I don't think it ever worked. Every time I saw Michael Richards, it looked like he wanted to be playing in front. He was just so gung-ho, out of position all the time, just going for every single ball, which is great. But when you've got Lescott behind you, who, like we said before, hasn't actually got the legs, I just think there was just the mix was all wrong. And I know they tried different central defensive partnerships, but it didn't work for me. I think that was
really, isn't it? When you think about how many goals that back four's conceded, I know left back's been an issue since Marvy, got crocked before the halfway point of the season. But you've got Jolene Lescott, Micah Richards,
Kieran Clark would be my first
between them, the Premier League experience they've got. Alan Hutton, was once a £9 million fullback stroke wing back. How could they not get organised?
Well, Lescott was, we're going back quite a while, but he was the best defender in the country at one point. And, in his Everton days, he was fantastic. But Kieran Clark, I just think, for me, first name on the team sheet, really. I think he could have a massive season, and he's a very, very important player for Villa. And you look how he's performing, on international level, he looks like a different player. And that's the same with a lot of them. The confidence is just shot. And they need this clean slate. They need this manager to come in, assess the squad, sort it all out. I don't see anything but bright things for Villa on the pitch if the right players are signed, and there's nothing to suggest that there's going to be any kind of hold back on spending. It's not in a new owner's best interest not to invest in his team, and Randy said that he's had those assurances. So if I was a Villa fan, I would be feeling very, very
in fairness, and I don't want to bang on about Randy again, but he's not going to say, good luck with this fella.
Controversial, yeah.
Is he?
No, he's not going to say, "Oh God, I'm glad I've sold it. I could have sold it to anybody, and this guy's just some Mickey Mouse joker." Because I don't think he is. But if I was a Villa fan, this is probably me being a bit flippant, because financially there's so much at stake when you get relegated. But if I was a Villa fan, I would look forward to the new season. I would think it's going to be an adventure. You're going to go to all these grounds you haven't been for a while. You're going to see your team winning. I just say sit back, enjoy it, but there is a cautious sense of optimism.
Listen, the Premier League's sucked the life out of many fan bases except Leicester. I mean, if you ask Albion down the road at the moment, they're at crossroads. They don't know.
Rotherham Tuesday night, ain't that bad.
No, not the first time of asking. Yeah, when it is a kind of a new adventure. It's the fourth or fifth season that would worry me. Now, I think Villa, you've got to look bare minimum, the playoffs. That's what the expectation's got to be. The reality is that that's going to be one hell of an achievement. And again, it's back to the manager. If you were to employ David Moyes, Nigel Pearson, whisper it softly, Steve Bruce, even Mick McCarthy, you could probably say any of those four would, not guarantee, but they'd give you one hell of a chance of top six. Di Matteo?
I'm not disagreeing with you because you're right, but I just think you say minimum playoffs. Oh yeah, they should be expecting the playoffs, and it's a good enough team. It's already a good enough team if you get rid of the
20 of them.
I was gonna say I don't know. I don't want to be coarse, but anyway, to get rid of those players who underperformed, basically. Even then, if you've got rid of those, you've still got a basic structure in place that's better than most Championship teams. It's all about the ethos and how this team works together, and understanding the Championship and how the Championship works. If they do that, get a few players in, they're in no danger. They're a top two side.
Question.
We've got 5 minutes left because we've got to write some stories.
Question from Danny Austin. You see Brian Little staying at the club in the role he's currently occupying? What has he contributed though? Like, for a bit of a background, he's been on this board. He's one of the kind of surviving members now, isn't he?
I think that'll become clear when the new manager's appointed. I think he'll have had a say in that, do you?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a slight. I will get round to answering the question, but it comes back to Steve Hollis's role in this. Now, Steve Hollis has only been here since January. He's been the one who has been responsible for having to bring about these fairly savage cuts. But he's recognised that, you know, I think he came in straight away and said, I'm not a football man, I'm a businessman, I'm here, you know. Know your limits, I think, basically. And I think that that's a lesson that the new board and the new owner should learn, really. You know, I think, you know, okay, so we played the new man, the Doc, played football at college level and is an Aston Villa fan. Now, I don't think that gives him any kind of level of experience to pick the team, to make crucial football decisions. That's why somebody of the ilk of Brian Little, you know, I think they should still reach out to football people.
We have a visitor.
Hello, Greg.
Morning.
You want to join in?
No.
Thanks. So, listen, it'll all come out in the wash, but I think that somebody from like Brian Little, somebody who's a football man and who has the club's interests at heart, I think they'd be foolish to just cast him aside.
Greg's laughing at one of the questions that we've got coming in. I'd like to know what that question is.
It's not a question, it's just a lot of abuse.
Matt Kendrick's hair needs a press conference.
I've actually borrowed this from Donald Trump, so you can...
I haven't got it.
And what about Steve Hollis now? With Keith Winers on the scene, what is Steve? Can they expect Steve Hollis to be departing? Do you think?
Yes.
I can't imagine. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think he's provided good value while he's been there. I think the good things that he's done are to open up clear lines of communication with the supporters and with the staff. Like I've just alluded to, I think the fact that he knows his limits and trusts football people, I think he's a strong leader.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be good to see if there was a future role for him, but he's already delivered on what his mission was to bring about change.
Job done.
He's been brought in to do a job done. It's simple as that. I don't think it was everyone to.
And Dougie Lawton says, in a word, yes or no, the two Albion players released last night, you take them down the Villa next season?
No.
I'm not sure I would, to be honest. You know, Big Vic is injury prone, so do we want to be paying big money for somebody to stay on the treatment table? And Sessegnon, as much as he's got quality and brings about sparkle, you know, he's taken him till the final months of his Albion contract to really kind of
Yes or no?
to really shine. So no.
Okay.
What, are we done?
Yes, we're going to wrap it up there, I think. That was a success, wasn't it?
Any more abuse?
Plenty. I'll let you go back to your desk and read it all.
We love you all.
Yes, guys, thank you very much for joining us.